Hi everyone, my name's Sophia and I'm doing a pick a card reading for you today. We're doing a collective message with the intention that your guides have a message for you depending on which pile you choose, pile number 1, 2, or 3. This is my first tarot reading I've ever done publicly. I've done it for friends and I rarely do it for myself, but I do like doing general readings, and so come on this little learning train with me. So pile number 1, here we go, and I apologize. My camera's not perfect. I'm not going to be perfect in this, and I do read intuitively, so I'm not going to be looking at like the typical definition of what each card means, but I just use these basically as a tool for source to channel through me, and in this case your guides and or angels. And also I have 2 twin 5-year-old boys, and I am trying to have them stay slightly quiet while they're with their dad on the other side of the house, but sometimes they can't do that and you might hear a squeal every now and then. So just know their dad is with them. You may hear a little giggle. That is part of it. So welcome to my channel. Here we go. Okay, this is going to be pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. So I don't have the best camera setup, and in fact I'm just using my iPhone. I have it propped up on like a candle holder, and so I'm not going to be showing you necessarily the full layout. I can show bits and pieces here and there, but I will be holding the cards up. I've pre-shuffled the cards, and I haven't yet seen them, so I'm going to be seeing them while you see them. So that's exciting. Also, not every deck has the same amount of cards. Deck number 2 seemed to have a few more than the others, but I wasn't really counting. I just was pulling intuitively, so we'll see. Now pile number 1, here we go. I'm going to be using 3 decks today, and my child was just here we there. So today we're going to be using these 3 decks. I have the Star Spinner Tarot. We're going to be using the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck, and some oracle cards, Oracle of the Hidden Worlds. These are all very beautiful decks. I'm really particular with my decks, and I don't know, I kind of tend to go towards more like ethereal, fairy-like, gentle feminine cards, although I do have a masculine side, as we all do. We're dualistic, but I do prefer kind of like the soft imagery of these decks, and so I will be pulling additional cards in each pile if needed. I'm also going to be opening myself to channel, so I might just get intuitive messages as I'm channeling and doing these readings. So here we go. Okay, so pile number 1. I'm going to start with our oracle cards. I'm going to start with my oracle cards, which I was intending on doing these last, but I just feel like doing that. So first off, we have the liminal dance, delicacy, fragility, and transience. It's a beautiful kind of stone doorway. Okay. Then we also have healing the earth, love, humility, and respect. It's a beautiful card. You can see it's kind of like an angel overlooking the world is how I am viewing that. So I have those two. I also have some others here. So we have the Queen of Cups. We have Judgment. It's interesting, there's so many women already showing up in this reading, and they're kind of all overlooking and with the same expression on their face. Like, you can see this, and then we have her. So we kind of have this kind of mothering effect, it looks like, coming in. Next we have the Hermit. So before I move on, I already am feeling an energy that may be around you, or it may be you or your not your higher self, but kind of not a darker version of yourself, but there is a sense of judgment coming through, or just kind of looking down at, not looking down at what you're doing, but maybe you're judging yourself too much, or you think others are judging you at this point in time. But I do think that there is some sort of aloneness here, where you're being very introspective and maybe kind of getting to this place where you're kind of going on your own journey, thinking things through in your head, maybe overthinking. We're just gonna go there. I'm gonna state the obvious too, that you could be having trouble with a female presence in your life. It doesn't have to necessarily be a mother, but someone that you don't necessarily have to trust them, but someone that's kind of that motherly figure for you, or if not, that could be a close friend that you interact with frequently, someone that, sorry, the word Dixie is popping into my head too, which is like so random and kind of an old school name, but yeah. Anyways, I'm just going to keep moving forward for a second. So this is going to pan itself out. Okay, next I have the Four of Coins. Again, another woman kind of looking down, being introspective, observing. We have the Chariot. Our first, or our second, almost third kind of masculine image. I was kind of thinking this one has kind of more of a masculine energy as well. Okay, then we have the Ten of Swords. And that's kind of very, it's a heavy card. It's a heavy card. Then we have the Wheel of Fate in reverse, which I believe is kind of like the Wheel of Fortune. I could be wrong. I'm not trying to be right. That's just what is popping into my head. Okay, we kind of have a lot of movement here. Also a lot of solidarity, a lot of thinking, processing, overthinking. There is a lot of judgment here, and I think that a lot of it is coming from you. I'm sorry, I'm gonna put my hair up. Or it could be you thinking that other people are judging you, and they could be, or they could not. And I think it's just a lot of thinking. Like, I'm picturing like inside of a clock, like there's so many moving parts, and it kind of makes everything all work together. But if you focus in on one little thing, it's like, what is this movement doing? What is this movement doing? Like, you don't really, it's hard to see the big picture when you're focused on a little tiny thing here. So I'm just going to go in, and what I'm seeing with our first card here, the liminal dance. And honestly, I don't even know what that means, but I like that it says delicacy, fragility, and transience. To me, this image though is a portal. It's a doorway. It's a way to get from point A to point B, but I think it's interesting you have these clouds. It's a really light, ethereal background, really, very heavenly, but this portal is made of stone. It's very solid. It's very stuck in its way, in a sense that maybe your thought process has been like this recently. Like, it's not like there's a door on it. You can walk through it at any time. But it may just be the overbearing presence of it could be a little intimidating for you because you don't know what's on the other side. It may be the same that's on this side, but you do have to go through that process of changing a thought, choosing to move forward, choosing to go through it. And there is something almost a little psychedelic about this card as well. When you get, that's probably impossible to see here, but there's so much detail in even the grass here. And from afar, it just looks like greenery, and then you get closer and it seems like, oh, there's so much more detail. There's so much more to this. Again, kind of connecting back to the innards of a clock. From the outside, you just see this thing, it's working, it's moving how it's supposed to. You open it up and you start analyzing the little pieces inside, and you kind of panic and say, I don't know what this does, and I don't know what this does, but it all works together. And so that's something to remember. I think something that's important that your guides want you to know is just trust in the process, and trust that anything that's happening is happening for a reason. It's happening for the bigger picture, whether you can see it at that moment or not. Okay, then we're going to move to healing the earth, love, humility, and respect. And I think that's a big part of once you can kind of choose and push through this portal or this doorway or this passageway, and it's more about making a conscious decision to go from point A to point B. You have to set intention. Not necessarily manifesting something, but just having intention and going with it and not double guessing yourself. And with that, there will come healing. I think also that we have healing the earth is that when you can come to an understanding of yourself and your intentions and what your goals are in this moment or in the future that you're working towards that may seem too big, allow yourself to kind of just slowly process step by step until you can see that big picture. And you may not even see it until it's finished and in front of you, and you may go, oh my gosh, I did this. This is so cool. There's no way I did this. Like, you may not connect the dots, but you really did. You're going to achieve this goal, or you're going to get to this point where you're wanting to be, desiring to be almost, but you just kind of don't think that you can do it, and it's going to all come together. You're going to kind of be amazed by it, like really wowed is what I'm getting. Like, I also in the back of my head have like, it's like I'm in a coliseum and people are like clapping, or you're like in a theater and it's like you've just taken your bow and everyone's praising you. And I think that has something to do with just allowing praise. Don't be so judgmental with yourself or others. And when you can do that, that's also going to be healing, not only towards yourself, but towards everyone around you, towards Gaia, towards Earth. Okay, next we have the Queen of Cups. And we have Judgment. I'm going to read these two together because they seem to be kind of twins in a sense. The Queen of Cups, I think it's funny. It's almost like the yin and yang here. I have the Queen of Cups kind of abundant in the fact that she knows her cup is always full. And even if it's not full, she has this vessel below that she can always just go back and refill it. And there's kind of a magic about it. Just that she can make a choice at any time to go back and refill her cup. And that's something that you can do for yourself just by being positive, I think. Just by not judging yourself, okay? I think the judgment is what makes you think, oh, I shouldn't take another sip. I shouldn't, you know, I can't waste this. I don't deserve this. You know, I wish I had more. That's coming from this. That's coming from judgment. That's coming from comparison. That's coming from, for some reason, not seeing the beauty in yourself. And I think that if you can, I think if you can tap in to your beauty, not in necessarily just a physical sense, just what is special about you? What do you like about yourself? How can you share that with more people? Or even if it's not sharing it with others, how can you show yourself more love, more appreciation? How can you fill your cup? What fills your cup? And next we have the Hermit, which I think, again, that can come with, you know, you're working through a lot with these cards, with Judgment and the Queen of Cups. You're kind of trying to find the balance of you. And I think the Hermit, in that process, I think when I'm trying to work out a lot in my head or spiritually or anything with work, I sometimes need to go hide away. I need to focus on myself. I need to focus on my tasks that I need to complete. I need to focus on my goals that I want to set for the future. And if I don't do that, I can feel alone. I can isolate. I can isolate myself just enough that I can move on and get to my next level. But sometimes I do kind of have to hibernate and focus, you know. And I think that this is saying that could be a route for some. This could also be saying that you're isolating too much. I know things can be overwhelming. Guides are acknowledging that you may be overwhelmed and you may feel a little stuck. And they just want you to remember that even though your feelings are real, it's not necessarily reality. And that's a broad statement because your reality is reality. But I think you just need to kind of let go, open up a little bit to people. If you're struggling, tell someone. If you aren't in a place where you're willing to do that or able to do that, or it doesn't feel right, you need to kind of talk with yourself. Maybe that's journaling. Maybe that's doing something creatively and expressing yourself, letting out kind of that subconscious energy come through and meet with your conscience. Conscious. Thank you. They want you to be conscious of all of you, though, of every part of you, and they want it to come together and become one, is what I'm getting. Next we have the Four of Coins. Again, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to pause because my kid's screaming in the background. I'll be right back. Okay guys, thanks for waiting for me. Okay, let's see here. I guess you didn't have to wait, but I think I took a break in not a long break, but my kid was screaming in the hallway, so I had to go deal with that. Okay, so we have the Four of Coins. again, we have this woman showing up here, and there's a lot of feminine energy, but this reading is a good mix of masculine, feminine. It's very dualistic, I think, and there's kind of a lot of light and a lot of dark. It's kind of a lot, you know, it's kind of almost, it's not a war, but I definitely see you kind of fighting yourself, This, you can see, can you see? I don't know if you're going to be able to see this with how bad my camera is, but she almost has a worried look on her face. It's like she has these 3 coins here, and she's longing for this 4th. And I think what this is saying again is you're very, in your head, you're very, you're overthinking. You're focused on the wrong things here. Because you're focused so much on missing this, you're not appreciating and acknowledging these blessings down here. And so I think it's, again, just trying to tell us, let go, try to see the bigger picture. I know it's hard, but try to see the bigger picture in things. And if you can't, just be patient. Appreciate what you have. I think a little gratitude goes a long way. And I'm not saying you're not grateful, but that's something that when I get stuck in my head, I have to remind myself what I'm grateful for. And it can really pull me out of a funk pretty quick. So it's just something to think about. Are you acknowledging your blessings in life? And are you seeing the good in things? Or are you just kind of hyper-focused on the negative, you know? Try to see the good. I know it's hard and it's probably annoying to hear, but I think that is important, and what they do want you to acknowledge is just appreciate the blessings that you have and know that there are more coming. So don't worry, they have a plan. Next we have the Chariot. Like I said, they have a plan. They're coming. You're going places. They're gonna meet you there. They're gonna help push you there. You know, it's fine. You have a chariot to pick you up, to put you on your way. So you do have your guides, you have help, you have your angels, you have your ancestors, you have all these people that are there ready to pick you up and take you to the next level. And they are just telling me too that you sometimes need to reach out and ask for them to come in and help, and they'll be there. It may not be in the way that you're expecting, but they are there, and they are working for the good. They're working towards giving you the best that you're supposed to have in this lifetime, and probably more than you can even imagine. It's really beautiful. And again, here we have the 10 of Swords. This is, again, a heavy energy on this one. We have this bird, this fallen bird with all these swords in its back, and one below. So I think, again, what this is saying is you may feel like you have these 9 issues, or, you know, it doesn't have to be 9, but you have all these issues coming at you, and it's a lot to process, and it's heavy, and it can be overwhelming, and you could be overthinking and judging yourself. But look at this last little blessing. It may not seem like it, but this leftover one, I think, was meant to be in the back as well. You were spared one. You were spared. You were spared. Speared and spared. But I think that it's just saying, again, count your blessings. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. And there was the shining light watching over you. And it may not feel like it because you feel like you've been through all of this horrible stuff, but it could have been worse. And they are watching, they are protecting you. It's kind of a test, honestly. Seems like you're kind of going through a test. Okay, next we have the Wheel of Fate. This was pulled in reverse, but I don't really think that matters in this case. I think, again, all they're saying is that we're here. We're balancing you. We have these two beings kind of spinning, and they're equals. They're almost twins, right? Are they twins? About the same. I think they're the same, yeah. So again, we have kind of the yin and yang, a good, a bad, a dualistic type of energy here of, you know, it may feel like there's a lot of negativity or there's a lot of hard things that you're dealing with at this time, but there also are a lot of good that you may not be seeing because you're so focused and I'm spinning, I feel out of control, I don't know what to do, you know. But I think also in the back you kind of have these eyes and almost wings, almost like, you know, those depictions of like that people have made of what angels in the Bible would look like if you actually like drew them out or made like a real version of it, and it's kind of freaky and intense and overwhelming. And I feel like that's kind of that energy in the back, but to me it's not a scary thing. I mean, it's angels. You have all of these beings, all these protectors, all these ancestors, angels, guides surrounding you, protecting you, keeping you in the flow you're supposed to be in. And even though you may feel like you're going through the low dip, remember you're going to go back up and down, and that's just how life goes. It's an ebb and flow, and that's nothing to be afraid of. You have to learn, I think this is coming through, you have to learn how to deal with yourself when you're in the low part of the circle, right? It can be intense, but you're not going to be stuck there forever because it's a constant flow whether you like it or not. So you're going to go up and you're going to come down, and that's okay. Just know that your angels are there watching and protecting you. So lovely. So pile 2, I think overall what those cards were saying is don't be so hard on yourself. You have a lot going on. There's always going to be a lot going on in life. It's always going to be an ebb, a flow, a yin, a yang, up, a down. And it's okay. You just got to learn how to deal with those down parts and what can make you feel good and what can pull you, sorry, crack my knuckles, and what can, not just what can make you feel good, but what can pull you out of that overwhelming negative emotional distress that you get in. What are your triggers? What are the things that make you feel good when you're feeling bad? And I think just make sure to stay away. This isn't for everybody, but some of you, make sure you're not doing anything to make yourself feel good that isn't good for you. You'll know what that means. So thank you so much. This is lovely. On to the next pile. Thanks. Hi, pile 2. Welcome. I put my hair up from the last time you saw me. It's just I'm not used to wearing my hair down, and I tried and I got distracted. So I put it up just so I could focus a little bit better. I have this pile here, and pile number 2, I do have to say that when I was pulling your cards, they were jumping out, like way too many were jumping out. So you're going to have a few more cards in the other piles, which I'm fine with, but just know that your guides are pretty antsy. They're like, we have a lot to say here, so I think that's cool. Starting off in a good way. Okay. So I am starting with the Oracle of the Hidden Worlds cards. I just felt called to do that in the first reading, and I'm just going to continue with it. So, number 1, we have the Sacred Journey, introversion, seeker, and self-knowledge. And I'm sorry, I'm not a bad reader, but when I get on camera, it's like I forget how to read sometimes because I get nervous. So just don't poke too much fun at me for saying words wrong on here. Okay, anyways, so we have number 30, the Sacred Journey. Introversion, seeker, and self-knowledge. And this is a beautiful card, I do have to say. Like, I want to go here. I want to be here right now. It looks so peaceful, and honestly, I almost feel like crying, and I don't know if that's part of how you're feeling, but that is it's kind of just like a blissful, peaceful moment that, like, I feel like my soul needs that. I'm resonating with this card a lot. What I'm also noticing in this card, there's a few kind of magical things happening here, so I'm going to bring it in closer and let you see. So you have this pathway leading up this hill to this almost door, portal, gateway here. It's hard to see, but there is a man. Pretty sure it's a man. It's almost like a wizard here. You have this kind of light, I wouldn't call him a light being, but possibly. He's this energetic being kind of showing you the doorway. And then on top of that, you have this shooting star in the back. So we have a little movement. We have a little life going on. This is just a beautiful card. Also, what's standing out is you have this kind of family of trees here, and then this kind of odd one. It just isn't one of these things. Is not like the other, you know? It's kind of that feeling. But there is something so peaceful and magical about this card, and I'm loving it. I actually haven't seen this card in my deck before. So cool. Anyways, that's number 1. We're going to go back through and we're going to mend all these together, but I just want to show you what your pile is, because I haven't even, I guess I said it in the first video, but I haven't seen these cards. This is my first time seeing what I pulled for each deck as well, so this is just as new for me as it is for you, and I like to do that because the messages that come through naturally, instinctively, and that's my goal, and that's how I read, and so this is really fun for me. Next we have the Isle of Wonders, and this is a beautiful card too. I also have to say that there's a lot of blue and light and kind of greenery. It's a very natural, two very natural landscapes going on here. So we have the Isle of Wonders, revelation, teaching, and discovery. And this is a beautiful card as well. Like, gosh, if this is heaven, count me in. I'm like, look at these. We have these beautiful birds of light. We have 4 of them. So number 4, and this is card number 4. This could have something to do with you. Maybe your life path number, maybe your, who knows, maybe the day you were born or anything. But for some reason, the number 4 does seem to be important in this card. I also see that we have a crescent moon at the top here. We have this flowing water, this little island of what seems to be a little oasis in the middle of this beautiful landscape, although it could be, you know, an oasis in the sense that you're retreating from maybe all this water. It's a lot of energy flowing around you. And then, well, we're going to move on. We're going to come back to this card, so hold on here. Okay. Next we have 3 of Pentacles. Very interesting. Okay, sorry, I'm just thinking. Sometimes I get like a quick little, I have to kind of process process what's happening here. Okay, we have the King of Cups. I have to say, even though there's a lot of masculine energy coming through in this pile, it does seem like it's a gentle masculine energy. It's a very introspective, observant energy. Okay, we have the Five of Cups. This was in reverse. Actually, all three of those cards, the last three were in reverse. So we have the Five of Cups, the King of Cups, and the Three of Pentacles all in reverse. This, again, very strong masculine energy, but also very soft and very gentle and introspective. Look at that position. It's just like you can't get away from it. There's a lot of thinking going on in this group. A lot of emotion. You may be a Pisces, you may be a Scorpio or any other water sign, or just sensitive. I just got a message that you could be psychic or a medium. You could be a little too open at this moment. You might have to learn how to close yourself off a little bit just so that you're not feeling so overwhelmed. And you may not even be aware of that. You may not be aware that you have certain abilities. We all are capable of these abilities, but some of us are more aware of it than others. And sometimes if you're not fully in tune with your capabilities, it just seems like overload and can be stressful and emotional, and I'm just getting the word sorrow. Like you're feeling a lot at this moment. Yeah, you're feeling a lot. Okay, we have Judgment. We also had Judgment come out from a different deck in pile number 1. And honestly, these two piles have been a little similar, except this pile seems to be a little bit more, so far, a little bit more dominated by a masculine energy, whereas the first pile number 1, seemed like it was kind of more of a feminine energy coming through, although it was pretty balanced between feminine and masculine. It's kind of more of a dualistic energy, but this is definitely feeling, it's just so interesting. It's a masculine energy, but a very soft and gentle masculine energy, to the point where it's like they don't know how to deal with what they're feeling. And that can be just miserable. I'm sorry if you're feeling like that. We're going to figure it out. Okay, next we have the Three of Chalices, which I don't even know what card this represents in a normal deck. But we have this trio of almost lovers going on here, which is very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, we have Justice. This is being depicted as a feminine energy as well, and it's interesting as well. And I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, next we have oh wait, yeah, 3. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. This card, I'm sorry, you saw me just trying to process that. This card is an enigma to me. We're gonna get there. Really, I'm like stuck on that card. I'm sorry. It seems out of place, but I know there's a reason for it. So we're going to figure that one out in a second. Next we have the Page of Swords in reverse. But we're going to read that upright. It's kind of like a boy. a younger energy. And then we have okay. Okay, then we have the, sorry, these cards, I'm like not used to reading these ones, and I'm like a little confused, but I'm just looking at the imagery of it and trying to process, because that's all I care about anyways. I don't really care about like the words on the cards. But we have the Seven of Swords here. And this is just this whole thing. Okay, let me think about this. Not really. We're just going to walk through it, but it is interesting. It's like you have kind of your natural state, your home. Oops. Excuse me. Okay. We have kind of this natural heaven, this natural state of where we come from, the portal that we pass through when we arrive, when we die, who knows. We have this portal, this beautiful portal with all this, it's almost like an invisible door. Like, come on, that's okay. So we have this beautiful light world here. We have this beautiful light world here. There's water in this one, there's earth in this one. I think in that sense, we are having a very physical, emotional experience at this moment, whoever you are. There's just a lot going on. There's a lot to process. There's a lot of new things. It's overwhelming. It is like almost shocking what's happening, and we're kind of shutting down. But we have hope, because the beauty, we have hope. There's beauty. There's more to what we're seeing. There's this magical world that we are remembering. There is this magical world that we are remembering. We are capable of remembering our future and past lives, our other dimensional lives, and tying them together to see the bigger picture. I think you are working on different dimensional planes at the moment, and it's kind of overwhelming, and it's not even, you may not even know. I think you are not even, maybe some of you are. I think the majority of you aren't even aware that you're doing so much work in different planes. I think you're doing a lot of work in your dreams. I think you're doing a lot of work subconsciously, and it may be affecting kind of you in your daily life. You may just feel super overwhelmed, and like this, I just see this, I see it's beautiful, it's magical, at the same time, it's a lot of energy flowing around in this message right here. Like, I almost just picture you crying. It's just a lot. And it's not necessarily you're crying because you're sad. It's just, there's a lot to process. There's a lot of new things happening in your world, whether it's in this world or your dream world or another dimensional world or a past life or a future life or whatever is going on. There's just a lot of energy around you that you are feeling it all. It is all, and it's almost like how people talk about encountering aliens, or like why most people don't encounter aliens is because their energy is at such a high or low vibrational energy that, like, you know, say this is human level, like we have a range from like here to here. So say that's like about where my face is, and you have like high dimensional beings like resonating on this level, and then low dimensional beings resonating on this level. And so if one comes into contact with us and our energy tries, because energy tries to match other energy, it'll find a neutral spot. If it's trying to match something way, way, way higher than we've ever felt, or way, way lower than we've ever felt, we're going to meet it in the middle. And that even alone is a lot to process, and a lot to feel. Like, you're just feeling so much right now. It's crazy, and I almost feel it too, honestly. Like, I just almost want to cry. And I'm not a crier. I mean, I'm not opposed to crying, but like, I don't cry very often. But I have been kind of feeling this energy recently too, where it's like, you know, every now and then you just kind of get in a mood for a few days or a week or a few weeks or whatever it is, and you're just sensitive. It's sensitive, and you don't know why, but you know something's changing. Like, there is a shift. Like, for me, this is an opportunity. You can walk up that hill and enter through that door if you want to. Or you could stand back and admire it. You can stand back and be scared of it. Anything's fine, but you've seen it. You've seen it, you know? You gotta deal with it. How are you gonna deal with it? That's the question, I think. Okay, next we have the Three of Pentacles. We have these three men kind of contemplating, I wouldn't say bickering, but the word bickering came to mind. You kind of have, like, it's like you have you, and you have, I don't know why I keep referencing past you and future you. I think that has something important, but I keep seeing you kind of have like your present self, your future self, your past self, and you're all just kind of like, what's going on? Where are we going? What are we doing? Who knows? You know, you're just kind of like, well, I think we should go this way. I think we should do this. I think I want to go that way. And it's just kind of a lot of confusion and frustration. And it doesn't have to necessarily be like a negative feeling, but there is kind of this like contemplation of like, what should I do next? Where am I going? What am I doing? I see this opportunity. I see this over there. I see this over there. Which one do I choose? And it's kind of like overwhelming just because you have so many options. So I think that's going to be part of this, is that you might have to make a decision. You might have to choose to expand your horizon, expand your point of view. Because I think the fact that I keep wanting to talk about your past and your future, and I'm not just talking this life, I'm talking past life, future lives, all combining into one. Like, there is just something in the quantum world that is wanting you to acknowledge that basically time does not exist, but there is something happening for your soul over here, and something happening for your soul over here, and something happening for where you are in the present now moment. And let's figure out how to intertwine these things and not be overwhelmed by it. I think you have a lot of psychic ability, and if not just that, medium powers. You may be clairvoyant, you may be, who knows? There's a lot of abilities that you might have, and I think if you can kind of open up and acknowledge that, you will get a lot of insight from your guides. They're also saying, ask us questions. We're here. It's like a bored grandma, you know, like yeah, you don't need anything from your grandma, but sometimes your grandma likes you to ask for something just because she's bored, and because it makes her feel good. It makes her feel good to give you a gift. It makes her feel good to spend time with you. It makes her feel good to just have an interaction with you. And then you may not think it's doing much for you, but you walk away and hey, I learned something about whatever, you know, without even setting the intention to do so. So maybe you need to open yourself up to other opportunities, and you're going to meet people that are going to come into your life that are going to help you understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling, what your purpose is if you're questioning that, which a lot of us naturally, we're going to be questioning that probably our whole life. So there's just where you have to remember, we're always changing. We only have now. And don't get too stuck in that. Next we have the King of Cups. Again, we have, look, he just looks happy. So it's kind of like, if you can just like take that emotion, put it in your cup and drink it down. Like, you know, relish in it. Take in this new information. Take in these new experiences, these new people that you may meet. Like, I think you need to expand your horizons a little bit. Like, you need to not open your eyes. Like, obviously, moving on. I'm just saying, I think that it's important for you at this time to kind of just grab life by the kahunas and just go for it, because life wants to show you new experiences, new things that you may not even know to ask the questions. You know, life wants to give you the answers that you don't even know the questions to ask the answers for, if that makes sense. So just be curious, have fun. Like, I'm seeing like kind of like energy of the monkey, if that's funny, if that makes sense. You kind of just want that natural curiosity. Follow, like you have some weird niche thing that you are obsessed with on TikTok. Go scroll through and watch all those videos, and like, maybe it's going to spark something for you, or maybe it's going to lead to another path of something that, oh, that's actually meant for you. I don't know. Just be curious. Follow your curiosity. Like, it's just going to open doors. It's going to open portals for you. Okay. Next, we have the Five of Cups. So again, very heavy energy, contemplation, overthinking. You know, I think you have that stream in the back. There's a lot of water energy in this reading. Like, everything nearly has water energy, or just emotional energy. And I think the Five of Cups is definitely just trying to tell you, like, look up. Look up. See what's around you. Your cups are empty. Go fill them in the river. Okay? There's a lot of opportunity for you. There's a lot. And I'm not trying to be harsh. But, you know, don't get tied up in your emotions. You're to blind yourself. Okay. Next we have Judgment. Again, get out of your head. Get out of your head. There's so much more. There's so much more than what's inside your head. There's so much more. And what are you even judging yourself about? You are such a magical being. You have so many gifts that you could be sharing with other people. And maybe, actually, that just popped into my head, maybe you are supposed to be expanding and exploring your gifts to share with others, and that's what's going to give you satisfaction and relief from the feelings that you're experiencing. Because I think some of the stuff that you're feeling that's heavy on you isn't even yours. It could be like you're picking up on other people's energy, you're picking up on other people's traumas, you're picking up on whatever negativity is around you, and you just don't know what to do with it. So we got to learn how to expel that. Learn how to detach it from you, and also learn how to process. I mean, easier said than done, obviously, but there's just a lot that you, instead of being afraid of experiencing it, just take it as an experience and something that you're going to learn from, whether it feels like a positive or a negative experience. There's always something to learn from everything, even if you're just learning something about yourself. Okay, next we have the Three of Chalices. So, sorry, I'm just processing. I'm just like, okay, we have the Three of Chalices. We have these three mermaid ladies, I'd say, mermaid ladies. And they're all hugging, and in a sense, they're all loving each other and admiring each other, admiring the love they have between the three of them. And I think this could, again, like I've been talking about, you have your present, your past, your future, however you want to. And I think they're all trying to blend together, and it's kind of overwhelming for you. So maybe it would be helpful to do meditation. Maybe it would be helpful to do, I don't know, do a reading or go to a healer and see what they have to say about it if you're not far along enough at this point to do that for yourself. You could ask your guides before you go to sleep to help you do work in your dreams, to help you come to a better understanding of why you're feeling the way you're feeling, why your past and your future want to come together in the now, and have you understand that there might be something very important there, just a hint. So yeah, maybe an Akashic record reading would be amazing, or even a past life, like a QHHT session or a quantum healing hypnosis technique session might be really powerful for you, because you can tap into your past life and your higher dimensional self, to ask questions in basically a state of hypnosis, and they can be expensive to do that, but I think it's worth it. It might be worth it for you. So if you can or need to put some money aside and start saving for that, I'm getting that would probably be pretty beneficial for you. Just to kind of help you connect the dots and understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Because I think a lot of the reason you're feeling overwhelmed and emotional is there's something at this point in your life that you're supposed to understand about your past and your future and how to harmonize them. Okay. I was also getting union. Create a union. And I'm sorry, my kid is yelling in the back again. So I am going to take 1 second. I'll be right back. Hello, I'm back. Thank you for waiting. I'm sorry for the pause there. One of my 5-year-olds needed a little help in the hallway there, so I'm gonna help him. Okay, next we have justice. And to me, this is saying, explore your mind, explore your subconscious, you will find justice. You will find justice in your emotion, your being. You will find justice in the sense that, sorry, these cards keep drawing me in. I get like, excuse me, almost distracted. Yeah, next we have justice. And to me, what this is saying is, because of where it's at and what we've heard already, you need to explore your mind. You need to explore your subconscious. You need to explore things that you've never explored before in order for you to make some sense of how you're feeling. I think that it would be beneficial for you to do this with someone else, whether it's a friend, a healer, anything like that. I mean, there's so many different modalities that you could go through. You could do Reiki, you could do a QHHT session, you could do past life regressional therapy, you could do, there's literally like hundreds probably of ways that you could go about this. So just listen to your heart. I think you need to tap into your instincts a little bit more too, and just go with it. Like, oh, this seems interesting, I'm gonna explore that. Or this seems interesting, but it seems super weird, I'm gonna explore that. And I think you're gonna find a lot of understanding of who you are and why you're feeling the way that you're feeling by doing that. So you're gonna, in a sense, find justice within yourself. I don't think that, oh, well, this just popped into, you could be experiencing emotion from things that happened to you when you were a child, not necessarily, they don't necessarily have to be bad, but you know, everyone's different. Some things will affect someone differently than they'll affect the next. And it could be the exact same situation, the exact same words said, and it will affect this person on such a deeper level. And this person won't even notice it. It's just, I think this card isn't about justice in a sense that I'm going to have my justice and blah, 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 blah. It's justice within yourself. Justice is justice as in understanding, almost. Justice as in putting your stake down, figuring out who you are, right? Put the stake down. Make yourself known. Who are you? Who do you want to be? Okay? Now this one, again, this is an enigma to me. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we have the 9 of chalices, which I don't even know what this is in regards to in a normal tarot deck. Honestly, I don't. I should have looked it up before, but I don't care to, because I don't even, I mean, I'm looking at the imagery of this. We have this beautiful dancer dancing in the night on a bed of golden flowers. That's what I'm picking up from this. And there's these feathers falling. And there's something about this that is saying to me, like, this is almost like a dream. This is your mind. You have the dark and the light, and you have just the dance of life. Like, you see, it's like she's creating her own magic by being magical, by exploring, by dancing, by showing her creativity, by doing what makes her feel good. You have these feathers falling from the night sky, and feathers, I think, to me typically represents a message from source, a message from your angels, a message from your guides, ancestors. It's a message for you, and she's creating almost her own magical message, maybe within herself through her creativity. So maybe there's something about you could access important parts of your being and understanding of yourself through creativity. Maybe you need to move your body. Maybe you need to do something creative in a sense. Sing a song, dance, right? Who knows? Explore. Don't be afraid to explore. Okay, next we have the Page of Swords. It's almost this boy, right? The page. And he's reaching for a butterfly. Again, that's like, to me, a sign of communication from your guides or angels or ancestors, right? A message from source. Something's giving you hope. Something wants to show you something. How are you gonna access that? How are you going to open yourself up to view that? Are you gonna do dream work? Are you gonna do meditation? Are you gonna go visit a healer? Are you going to talk to a friend or a family member? Are you gonna journal? Who knows? There is a little blip of a loving energy wanting to connect with you, right? He's reaching, they're almost there, they're almost touching. That can be you. Gotta open up. Reach for it. Reach for it. Tell your guides, I want to know what's going on with me. I want to know. I want to know. Open me up. Right? Okay, next and last but not least, we have the 7 of Swords, right? And again, this is funny, right? This is a funny card. It's a funny ending. It's you kind of grabbing, holding, hoarding what you think is important. And you're grabbing what you can, but there's more around you. So I think that is something to say about, and look, it's like grabbing what he can and running with it, right? So I think that in itself is a message. grab what you can, grasp what you can. Ask the questions that you know of so far. You're going to get those answers, and there's going to be more questions that pop up, and you're going to have to go back and do that work and grab those to understand them as well. You know, grab what you can in this moment that makes sense to you, but know there's more questions, there's more routes, there's more to be said. Okay, so know that through this reading, there's just a lot to understand in the future that needs to be said, and for you to come to an understanding of who you are, why you're feeling the way you're feeling, and what you're here to do. Okay? Okay? So, I don't know. I think overall, just start asking questions and start asking specifically your guides, your higher self, your angels, your ancestors. Ask them questions, ask them for things, ask them to explain what is happening with you, show you in your dreams. Say, I give you permission to show me in my dreams, or to communicate with me in my dreams, or in meditation, or I am opening myself to channel messages from you in my journal, or whatever it is, whatever creative outlet you want to use. Like, I would say set protection for yourself, but also start asking questions and open up. Allow those messages to flow to you, because they want to, and you're going to feel so much better when you start understanding why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. Anyways, thank you, pile number 2. That was long, and I appreciate you if you got through that. Peace. Hi, pile number 3. So I told the other piles, but I haven't told you yet that I have not yet seen these cards that I've pulled for you, and it's just as much as a surprise for you as it is for me when I'm pulling these, so bear with me. Let's do this. Here we go. Okay. Ooh, this is already such a different vibe from the first 2 piles, and I love it. Okay, we have the Relics of Lemuria, Fragments, Memories, Reclaiming. Look at that. Look at that magical little world that you guys are coming from. That's awesome. Beautiful. Ooh, look at the beautiful moon in the back too. I'm loving it. Loving it. Okay, and that's a number 5. Okay, we also have the 17 fairy energy, growth, expansion, and flowering. Okay, so we have some really magical energies coming through, you guys, and honestly, you guys are so far even just such a light energy. Like, it just feels like my body feels lighter already with your reading. So you guys got some good energy here. Very, like, makes me feel good, right? Okay, we got the World, not surprising, you magical little beings. Okay, we have the 2 of Cups, and look at that lion. Like, okay, it looks like we have 1 glass full, 1 glass empty from my perspective, but it could just be 2 different glasses. Interesting. Okay, we have the King of Pentacles. Lovely. Okay, so we got some, like, you guys are like, I mean, I'll say you guys might be like a boss or something. Not even just like in the sense of work, but like you guys are sturdy, right? Okay, Queen of Pentacles. Okay, this is proving a point here, apparently. Okay, next we have the Tower. Okay, that card is like pretty fun, actually. I'm not opposed to it. Next we have the 8 of Swords. Okay, has a purpose. Next we have what is it? The Four of Chalices. 1, 2, 3, right? Yeah. Four of Chalices. Okay. Last but not least, we have the Nine of Swords, and that ended weird. I just got so much energy in my third eye, so you guys might be seeing some interesting stuff maybe when you sleep, because this is, and I'm not trying to scare anyone, but almost looks like a negative energy pouncing on you while you're sleeping. This kind of looks like a sleep paralysis demon, and I have never seen this card in this deck, and it is intense. And this is actually funny because I had a nightmare last night. Not a nightmare, I'm gonna call it a nightmare, but basically I had a dream last night that was super intense. You know the dreams where you're crying like hysterically in a dream and you start going like trying to breathe, you know, like catch your breath in between crying and talk. And my partner actually woke me up because he was, I mean, he could tell I was struggling in my dream, and like might be the same type of vibe there. So we have a lot of stuff going on in our dream world. This is also a very kind of like magical deck right here that we've pulled. So we have Lumeria, we have fairies, we have like kings, queens, you know, lots of stuff going on here. Okay, anyways, so we're gonna start here. The relics of Lumeria, and look how magical that is. And we also have these two birds, these kind of light beings, I'd say. They're not fully birds, they're like made of light, which I think is really interesting. We also see like another planet in the distance here, which I would take for the moon. It could be something else. And then we have these kind of little oases or islands happening here. To me, the word that stands out is oasis. But it says fragments, memories, reclaiming. So it's almost like, I think the first and the last are kind of pulling themselves together. I think there's a lot going on in the dream state or in the subconscious, or and this is kind of relating to pile number 2. So you may want to go back and watch pile number 2 as well. But it seems as though you're kind of making your own world, possibly, and there's something that wants to keep you here, right? Or bring you to another world. And I think you have to be decisive with where you choose to go, because it seems like you can travel pretty far if you choose to. So it's a matter of being in control of yourself, being in control of your thoughts, being in control of where, or your intentions, being in control of, I mean, it's not like you have to actually control, but being conscious of your feelings and being conscious of your intentions. It's important. It's important for you, because you can go far out if you want to. You are like almost like a mermaid energy, not even just a mermaid energy, but you're some sort of magical, you've had a life as a magical being for sure. We have the fairy energy, growth, expansion, flowering. Here we have kind of like this little fairy queen, and she's giving love or light to this flower, and it's like, again, setting intention of what you're, you know, set your goals, set what are you aiming for, right? Because if you're going to open yourself up to all these magical worlds that you're capable of opening up to, You have to be direct. Otherwise, you might get into a state of, uh-oh, I stepped into a place that I don't know enough about and I got to be careful. So I think this is saying, like, set protection for yourself. You may also, you may have, you may want to do a cleansing. I'm not saying someone sent the evil eye to you. It's possible. But there could be a negative energy trying to attach itself to you. And I'm not trying to scare you. But I think that if you're not doing it even intentionally, but if you're such an open being, you may need to learn how to close yourself off just a little bit, and not close yourself off, but set protection for yourself. You know, you can't just go, hey, I'm open. Anyone who wants to talk to me, come talk to me. You know, that's not the vibe, right? You gotta set your intentions. You gotta reel it in a little bit. I know it's like sometimes really exciting when you realize, like, oh, I have these capabilities, or I have these capabilities, or whatever it is, whether you know it or not. Maybe it's just like your subconscious figuring it out. You still gotta, like, set boundaries. You don't want to interact with things that you're not supposed to be interacting with at that time without understanding what you're interacting with. You need to set protection, I think, especially before you go to sleep. That's what I'm getting from this, and that's what keeps popping in my head. There's something about you are very open when you go into your dream state, and I'm not worried about meditation or any other state, really, unless I do have to say, if you're dabbling in witchcraft or any, mainly witchcraft, be careful. And, you know, for others that don't dabble in that, I would say just set your intentions when you go, and when you're exploring, when you get into, I see you get really almost high on spirit, right? You feel it. You're like, oh, I feel so good today. I just want to, you know, help everybody and do everything. And it's like, okay, you're also very open at that time. And I think you need to set boundaries and protection for yourself. Even just daily stuff like going to work or whatever it is. I think you need to say, hey, I am this lovely light being that attracts energy and can put out as much energy as I want, and I actually need to protect myself. I need to set boundaries for others that may be trying to drain me of my energy. I need to set boundaries for whatever reason. I think you know better than me, but I am seeing a lack of boundaries here, honestly. Yeah, and I mean, it's the saying, curiosity killed the cat. It keeps popping into my head, and I'm not saying that anything bad is going to happen to you, but, you know, you have to be careful if you're going to explore these unknown places, right? Just set protection for yourself. Ask your guides, your angels, to come through and protect you. Ask for messages only stemming from love and light to come through. You know, just be smart. Be smart. You get curious is great. Be smart. In the meantime. Okay, next we have the world. I think that if you can do that, if you can set your boundaries, set your protection, and do that exploration that you are being called to do, honestly, the world will open up for you. You're gonna be like, whoa, this is crazy. You're to want to, I see you like wanting to go. I get like this too. It's like you get a level of understanding, you want to go share it with people, and it's like, okay, some people are going to understand that. Some people are going to look at you and maybe think, oh, this person's off or something. Like, I think you create your own reality, and you also need to protect yourself within that reality, because some people aren't as open as you are, right? I'm like this too. I get like I'll get a download and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how this works on this level, on this dimension, and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I just shared that with the banker because he's looking at me like I'm nuts, you know? And it's like, I think you need to not just set boundaries with others, but set boundaries mainly just with yourself. Like, you're fine. You're fine to be your loving, caring, open, bubbly, light, you know, angelic self. Like, you are amazing for that, and that's why people are drawn to you. But, you know, when you're that open, there are people that, you know, they might not even think that they're negative, but when you're an open door, anyone can walk through, basically. So protect yourself, set intentions, set goals, know what you're working on, know what you're searching for. And it's okay if you don't know what you're searching for, but just set protection. Say, I only want these type of messages to come through at this moment, and only messages of love and light, because you don't want anything just walking through your door and making a home in your home. Right? We don't want this. This, not allowed, right? Banish it. Not allowed. Okay, we have 2 of Cups. Also, I just got the word, like, sage. Go sage. Go sage your house. Like, whether you think you need to or not, sage it. I'm also getting, like, my throat chakra. So I think that it is important for you to not communicate with others. I think you need to be careful what you communicate to others, because, again, boundaries. Also, you don't want to attract things that you aren't meaning to attract, basically. So just be conscious of what you're saying and who you're saying it to, okay? Okay. Also, I'm just gonna say it and I'm gonna move on. Your third eye is, like, extremely open at this moment, so you may be having visions or seeing things out of the corner of your eye, or having downloads of some sort, visions in sleep, anything like that. You're having a connection through the third eye chakra, and it's very active right now. So you can, if you feel capable of utilizing that, utilize it. If that's not something that you're familiar with, I would go, and you can even just look up on YouTube, go balance your chakras. I think that's really important for you. You're a little off balance. You have a lot coming in through your crown, a lot coming in through your third eye, and a lot coming in through your throat. Of course, you have a big heart. I'm seeing you might be having some stomach issues, some gut issues from the solar plexus, and sacral chakra. I feel like you are either hypersexual at this time or just not wanting it at all. And then I move down to the root, and it's a little off balance there too. So there is something about grounding yourself that is important. It's not even just, I think I'm seeing these are really open. These are not really working how they're supposed to do down there. And so I think you need to just do a little meditation. I think it's beneficial for you to do all the time, since you're such an open, curious being, but I think it is important for you to align yourself, because it does seem like you're a little more open than you should be at this moment. Yeah, anyways, sorry, getting lots of downloads on this one. Okay, next we have the 2 of Cups. This, to me, it's a funny balance between a masculine and a feminine energy, because to me the cups, I don't know why it's representing the womb to me, and then we have this masculine lion above. So I think, well, we have like snakes and a lion and a sword and cups. It's just like a lot of kind of royal energy, honestly. But yeah, the main thing I'm picking up on this card is a duality in a sense, and this not overbearing, but this energy almost observing you, how you're acting, how it's like you have someone watching over you, maybe an ancestor, something like that, maybe a spirit animal or a spirit guide. There's something saying, hey, I'm watching you. Well, these are your options. Which one are you going to choose? You know? Okay. Next, we have the King of Pentacles. Very kind of stoic. He's, you know, I mean, a king is a king, right? Look at him. He's like holding his wealth in the palm of his hand, right? There's something about, like, you are very secure, and that is a blessing. Like, and you may not feel like it, but you are like, and you are holding your reality, your future, your wealth, your spirituality, all that. Like, you got it. That's not a question. Like, you know what you're supposed to be doing. Same with Queen of Pentacles. Like, she has it too. So you have your masculine and your feminine side. Like, yep, we got it. Like, we know. There's no question about it. Like, you are in control of what you want to be in control of, basically. You can protect it. You can relish in it. You can share it. You can do whatever you want. You are in control. You have to remember that, and that's why you have to set boundaries and intentions. Otherwise, you're going to end up all over the place and like in this, I mean, not that fairies are, but I think of fairies and they're just kind of all over the place. And same here, you have these birds and they're light beings and they're just like kind of all over the place. So you got to focus, right? That's almost like what they're doing. Funny you did that motion. You want to focus, right? Okay, so focus. Set your intentions, set your goals. Say, hey, you're not allowed here. Say, hey, you are allowed here. I want to communicate with you. Go from there. You're gonna get like anything that you set out to understand or observe, like, it will be shown to you. It will be shown to you. We have the Tower. And that, whatever's shown to you may be monumental. Like, it's definitely a movement, a moment, right? You're going to have kind of, it's not a clash in a negative sense, but you, like, a meeting, a binding of two things, just by coming into balance with yourself. And I think that does have a lot to do with balancing your chakras and setting proper intentions and goals. Okay, next we have the Eight of Swords. And what's interesting about this, she's almost created a cage around herself. Her eyes are covered by this red ribbon, yet she has wings. So little does she know, she thinks she's encaged. She thinks she's not in control. All she has to do, because she's magical, just like you, is fly up. And she's out of this little cage that she's created for herself, right? Little does she know, as she flies up, the ribbon will fall from her eyes as well. So don't take other people's expectations and don't put yourself into a cage because of it. You are more powerful than that, right? You are capable of being whatever you want to be, basically, is what this is saying. You can stay within your boundaries. You can float, fly, explore others, or you can just be blind and caged. Like, that's just so not you. Like, this stands out so much. Like, this is not you. Okay? This is not you. This is not meant for you. So if you are feeling caged in any way, or like you're having to subdue who you actually are around others to please them, or overlook how others are treating you or interacting with you, anything, if you're having to blindfold yourself and put yourself in a cage for any reason, don't do it. Use your wings. Go. Get out of there. Like, you're so much more magical than like a freaking cage and a ribbon being tossed over your eyes. Like, come on. You got it. You're magical. Again, we have this magical little being. This little mermaid. Isn't she cute? She's also kind of in the state of like, oh, what do I do? Almost like boredom, honestly. She looks bored. So don't adhere to other people's expectations. Like, just because I'm telling you to set boundaries and all that, be careful what you say. It's not for others, it's for you. It's to make your reality, it's to make your reality easier on the daily, you know, like, you go be that magical being. Just don't tell everybody about it. That's gonna like question you and give you negativity and make you question yourself. Like, you know, you don't want to be sitting there on the rock like, what did I do wrong? You know, am I weird? Am I crazy? That's not true at all. Like, that is the demon on you, okay? And look at, he's a little puny thing. All you have to do is stand up, right? All you have to do is open your eyes and stand up. He's gone, okay? So just, you are in control. And don't forget it. Because, like, you're 10 times more magical than a lot of people around you. I'll tell you that much. And it is a beautiful energy that you have. Again, your first card was the Relics of Lemuria, so you may have ancestors or past lives in Lemuria. If you're interested in that at all, go ahead and look it up. A past life reading might come up. A meditation that might come up. Reach out to your ancestors, loved ones, angels, guides, future selves, higher selves, spirit guides, spirit animals, excuse me. I wouldn't be surprised if you start having memories from Lemuria. So, excuse me, I just got the hiccups, which to me means we're done here. And I love you, and I hope this was helpful and not too chaotic. And I hope to see you again. Bye, guys.